Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear children. Children, in the previous session, we discussed about minerals and their uses, right? So in today's session, we are going to discuss about soil, its composition, its formation, and its profile. So let's start with this session. So children, first of all, let's discuss about soil. Soil makes up the outermost layer of our planet, the earth. And you know, children, that topsoil is the most productive soil layer, because this is the layer where plants grow and is the layer we see. As you can see in the picture, this is considered as the layer where the plants grow. This is the topsoil, right? Because the topsoil is full of nutrients. And because of these nutrients only, plants are able to absorb water, minerals and other type of nutrients and warmth from the sun, and therefore they are able to grow, right? Soil has varying amounts of organic matter. Organic matter means living and dead organisms, right? So soil has organic matter, minerals and nutrients, and because of these all such things, plants are able to grow. Do you know, children, that natural processes can take more than 500 years to form just 1 inch of topsoil? So the soil scientists have observed and identified over 70,000 kinds of soil, because soil makes up the outermost layer of our planet, right? And it has organic matter, minerals and nutrients. And even soil is formed from rocks and decaying plants and animals. That means the dead remains of plants and animals. Do you know, children, that an average soil sample is 45% minerals, 25% water, 25% air and 5% organic matter? Means it is the combination of all such things, because all such things make up soil. There are different sizes of mineral particles like sand, silt, clay, which gives the soil its texture, and fungi and bacteria help to break down the organic matter in the soil, and therefore we can say that soil is formed, right? Let's discuss about the formation of soil in detail, children. Yes, the formation of soil happens over a very long period of time. Very long period of time means how long? It can take thousands of years or more. And soil is formed from the weathering of rocks and minerals. Children, weathering of rocks and minerals means, first of all, we should know what is meant by weathering. Weathering is the process of breaking down the rocks, right? There are two types of weathering, physical weathering and chemical weathering, right? But we don't have to go in detail about weathering. Weathering is the process of breaking down of rocks. Means what will happen? As we know that soil formation happens over a very long period of time. That means 1,000 years or even more than 1,000 years, right? But what is actually happening in the formation of soil? It is formed from the weathering, means from the breakdown of rocks and minerals, and the surface rocks will break down into smaller pieces, right? Let's see in the picture what happens. Yes, as you can see in the picture, these are broken down into smaller pieces. The surface rocks are broken down into smaller pieces through a process of weathering, and then it is mixed with the organic matter. Organic matter means, yes, we discussed about it, the fungi and bacteria, the microorganisms. They break down the organic matter in the soil, means the matter which is present in the soil, right? The living and dead organisms and other minerals and nutrients, right? So all such processes, all such pieces they will mix with the organic matter. The pieces of rocks, through a process of weathering, will mix with the organic matter, and over the time this will create a thin layer of soil. Over the time means over a period of 1,000 years or even more, a thin layer of soil will be formed. So we can say that plants help the development of the soil, because plants will develop on the topsoil, because topsoil is full of nutrients, right? So plants will grow on the topsoil, right? And they will help the development of the soil. But how can we say that plants help the development of the soil? Because in the formation of the soil, weathering of rocks and minerals takes place, and the surface rocks is broken down into smaller pieces, and then it gets mixes with organic matter, right? But how can we say that plants help the development of the soil? Yes, the plants attract animals, and when the animals die, their bodies decay. There remains the remains of the plants and animals is known as the decaying matter. So this decaying matter makes the soil thick and very rich in nutrients, and this cycle continues until the soil is fully formed, and the soil then supports many other different plants, right? So we can say that plants help the development of the soil. Yes, it helps the development of the soil, right? So I hope you are clear with the formation of the soil. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is composition of soil. Yes, children, do you know that soil is a mixture of different things like rocks and minerals, and even dead decaying plants and animals? That means this dead decaying plants and animals are the organic matter. They form organic matter. So we can say in short that soil is a mixture of different things like rocks, minerals and organic matter. Yes, soil can be different from one location to another location. That means it is not the same everywhere. It is different at different places, but generally it consists of organic and inorganic materials and even water and air, right? So soil is formed generally of organic and inorganic material, whether it is present in the north location or in the south location, right? Soil is different, but generally these things will be present. The inorganic materials are the rocks that have been broken down into smaller pieces. So we can say that the organic matter are the dead and decaying plants and animals, while the inorganic materials or matter are the rocks that have been broken down into smaller pieces, right? So let's see that what is actually formed in the soil, what it is made up of. Yes, soil is made up of the following things like gravel, sand, clay, particles, water and even humus. As you know, children, that humus, what is humus? It is the dead plant and animal remains, right? So you can see that what kind of layers can be formed over here, right? This is the composition of the soil. In soil will contain gravel or pebbles, then sand, then clay, then even water and humus. Humus, which is the dead plants and animal remains. Besides these, soil also contains air, minerals and some tiny organisms such as bacteria and fungi, right? As we discussed that bacteria and fungi help to break down organic matter in the soil. Yes, it helps to break down the organic matter in the soil, right? So all such microorganisms are also present in the soil. So this is what this is what is formed in the soil. This is what the soil is composed of, right? Let us discuss more about the composition of soil, children. Yes, the size of the pieces varies, as we discussed that the inorganic matter are the rocks that have been broken down into smaller pieces. But how much smaller? it is not the same. The size of the pieces are not the same. They vary. It may appear as pebbles, gravel, or as small as the particles of sand or clay. And the organic material is the decaying living matter, as we discussed, right? So these could be the plants or animals that have died and decayed until they become the part of the soil, right? So whenever they become the part of the soil, we can say that it is now one of the part of the composition of soil, right? So we can say that the organic matter is the decaying living matter, and the amount of water in the soil is closely linked with the climate. And climate means it will depend upon the other factors, environmental factors, right? Because the amount of water in the soil is 1/3. That can affect the amount of air also, which is termed as humidity, right? So always remember that very wet soil like you would find in many places has probably very little air, right? So the composition of the soil, because of this wet soil and little air, can affect the plants and therefore animals also that live there, right? So all these things, all the environmental factors also depends upon these things, and it can affect the composition of soil, right? But in short, we have to remember that composition of soil means it will be composed of gravel, sand, clay, water, humus, air, and other organic and inorganic matter, right? So I hope that you are clear with the composition of soil. Now let's move on to the soil profile. What is meant by the soil profile? Yes, soil profile refers to the layers of the soil. Soil is made up of distinct horizontal layers, and these layers are termed as horizons, right? So we can say that soil horizons or soil layers, they range from rich organic upper layers, that is the humus, and the topsoil, which is full of nutrients, and dead and decaying plants and animals, which is formed of dead and decaying plants and animals. So this soil ranges from humus and topsoil to underlying rocky layers like subsoil, regolith, and bedrock, right? So let us discuss about all the horizons or all the layers in detail. So the first horizon is O. O is the organic matter, right? As we discussed, that organic matter means the material which is formed by the decay of living organisms or decaying of living organisms, that is both plants and animals. This is termed as organic matter. So as you can see in the picture, the topmost layer is the organic matter. This layer forms the organic matter, or this horizon of the soil forms the organic matter. So we can say that the remains of these dead plants and animals become food for the bacteria, fungi, and algae in the soil. That means, as we discussed, that soil contains air, minerals, and also some tiny organisms like bacteria and fungi, right? Yes. So for these microorganisms which are present in the soil, for them these dead plants and animals become food, and therefore bacteria and fungi are organic matter, right? Yes. Now let's move on to another matter or another layer. Yes. Now next horizon or the next layer is the topsoil, that is A. You can see here, this is considered as the topsoil. Why it is considered as the topsoil? Because it contains fine particles of sand and clay, a lot of organic matter or humus, and some air. It is wet too. As it contains humus, it gives all the necessary nutrients to the plants which are growing in it. As you can see here, there are some plants, you can see some plants growing. This is because of the topsoil and the organic matter which is present, right? So we can say the topsoil and organic matter, that is the humus layer, is the upper layer. They form the upper layers of the soil, right? And this is the topsoil, this is the layer where most organic matter accumulation takes place, and most of the soil life is dependent. Most of the plants life is dependent upon this kind of soil, because this layer is depleted. This layer is not depleted of any other thing. It is full of nutrients and soluble constituents. So what happens? This layer forms by the combination of very fine particles and also many nutrients, right? So it is the topsoil is the horizon, or the topsoil is the layer which is very much important for the plants, right? Next, let's move on to the next horizon. Yes, next is the B. B is called the subsoil. As you can see in the picture, it forms a very large area, right? So it is the layer below the topsoil, and it contains the bits of rocks, right? Besides, it also contains very little organic matter but has water also in it. It is not only formed of rocks, it has water also. And the roots of some big trees grow down into the subsoil. As you can see here, these roots are formed in this layer, that is the subsoil. So we can say that most probably the growth of the plants are also depending upon the roots which are going towards the subsoil. How deep they are formed in the subsoil, that also depends, right? So we can say that roots of some big trees grow down to the subsoil, and that is why they become the support for the whole plant, right? So this is the subsoil, which is formed of the large bits of rocks, some organic matter and some water. Let's move on to the last horizon. Yes, the last one is the sea. The last layer is sea, which is known as, or which is called as, the bedrock, which is the underlying rocky area, right? Do you remember? Regolith, subsoil and bedrock, these are all underlying areas of the soil. Yes. So bedrock is also one of the underlying layer of the soil, and it has large pieces of rocks. As you can see in the picture, there is not much water here because of the large pieces of rocks present, and it is quite deep inside the earth. So this layer can't be seen, right? So this is the layer of large unbroken rocks, and this accumulates more and more soluble compounds in it, right? Soluble compounds means the compounds which can be dissolved in water, right? So children, these are all the horizons or all the layers which forms the soil profile. The organic matter, then topsoil, then subsoil, and the bedrock, right? Children, there are some interesting facts about rocks and minerals which we will discuss now. All the rocks are made up of 2 or more minerals, but always remember that minerals are not made of rocks. There are about 3,000 known minerals on the earth, as said by the scientists. And even quartz is one of the most common minerals found on the earth, and basalt is the most common rock, right? Let's move on to another slide and let's see what other interesting facts are there about rocks and minerals. Yes, diamond, as you know children, that it is the hardest natural substance on earth. And there is one amazing thing about diamond, that it is used to cut another diamond also, right? So how interesting it is, how amazing it is, right? Marble forms from the metamorphosed rock. As you know that metamorphosed rocks are formed of sedimentary rocks and igneous rocks, right? So marble forms from the metamorphosed rock, most usually from a limestone. Limestone is a sedimentary rock, so we can say that marble is formed indirectly from the sedimentary rock called as limestone, right? Then gold is extremely soft and one of the most valuable minerals. Children, you must be thinking that gold is so hard. By just seeing it, by just looking at it, you will just imagine that gold is so heavy and gold is so hard, but actually gold is extremely soft, and that is why it is considered as one of the most valuable minerals. Children, the next one is the feldspar. Feldspar is a term which is used for a very large group of minerals which are extremely abundant on the earth, right? So always remember that feldspar is a term used for the large group of minerals. Okay, children? So children, I hope that you enjoyed today's session and learned about soil, its formation and its profile, right? So we will now meet in the next session with a new lesson. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you, children.